Hi guys! Welcome back to my podcast. This is officially episode 1, season 2 of The Big A. New year, new me? I don't know. New year, definitely a better setup. Thanks to Socia Navigate. They are very kindly sponsoring this video for me. I was saying how, the editing process, the filming, it's very, very hard for me. I have no problem talking. You guys all know that, but setting up, editing, it's a very long process. And they said, don't worry, Amara, we got you. And that is just the kind of energy I'm looking for this year. So thanks to them. Higher production. After this episode, it will probably go downhill because it will be back to me and my B.Tech editing and technology. However, I really did want to start this season off with a bang. So here we are. I wanted to discuss the things I learned in 2024. 2024 was a very transformational year. I've got some great takeaways, so many exciting things going on this year, new sets of goals, things that I'm working towards. And I really feel like the lessons that I learned in 2024 have prepped me. And now it's like action time, action eyes on all the lessons learned. So yeah, let's get into it. Also, how cute is this? My phone case says The Big A. My other phone case says Forever Reva's Mum. 2 phones, one for the pugs and one for the hoes. First lesson I wanted to share with you guys, remember your why. This is very, very important. Why is such an important word, and it's a word that will always ground you and make you remember your purpose and why you're actually doing something. The reason I say this is because I've got to shout out 2 of the most sort of prominent characters in my life. One is Mr. Iman, that I'm sure a lot of you guys know. And one is Miss Moza, which again, I'm sure a lot of you guys know, because Moza's, it's kind of like know me, you know Moza, because she's kind of just like an extension of who I am. She's my bestest friend. And rightly so. He's a very realistic person. And he has always told me, your passion will no longer be your passion if you're forced to do it. And it's a very valid point. I even remember years ago, we had a conversation when I was his assistant. We had a conversation all about kind of the importance of sometimes you're not doing what you love, but whatever you do has to allow you to invest in what you love. Because even the most successful people, a lot of the times, they do what they hate half the time. Like I know, for example, Iman, there's a lot of parts of his work that he finds extremely boring and draining, but it's got to get done. And so he really helped me in that mindset of like, okay, whatever you're doing, you may not like it, but it will allow you to invest in what you love. Fast forward a couple of years, I am very, 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 very grateful that I get to actually, make money from what I do in terms of like the influencer stuff and the content creation. Like that is such a blessing, and that's something I've been working towards. But I've got to say, Iman was right. Sometimes your passion no longer becomes your passion when you're forced to do it. And I think if you guys have been following me for a while, you'll know, like Moza knows, and Moza calls me out on it all the time. Like if I'm not in the best mood, you can see it in my content. But yeah, sometimes I'm getting paid to do a video, no choice, but I have to film this video even though I'm really not in the mood and I'm really not doing well mentally, but you've kind of got to put on that face and get on with it. And I think I've had a lot of periods where I've kind of just wanted to run away from social media. And this is where Moza comes in, and she always tells me, remember why you love it so much. Remember why you love social media. Remember why you love content creating. Remember why you're doing the things you're doing. And thank God I have her, because she always reminds me to remember why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I think it's so important because we can really lose touch with that part of ourselves that's grounded and that has that like the first initial trigger into this is what you want to do with your life. We can forget about that sometimes. And it's so important. Remember why you're doing the job you're doing. Remember why you're in the relationship you are. Remember why you left a person. Remember why you're in love with a person. Remember why you want to transform your body and lose weight. Like, remember why you started. So yeah, I had to remember why a lot last year. And it's definitely something I'm always going to keep in mind, especially for this year. With whatever way the wind blows me, I will never forget why I have started. Next lesson, knowledge versus wisdom. My mom told me this. She said, knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put a tomato in a fruit salad. I have had many times, many times where I have known something, okay? Say, for example, I've known a guy isn't good for me, but I have not had the wisdom to walk away. At the end of the day, madness is going into a situation that has hurt you, expecting a different outcome. I have been so mad so many times because I have had the knowledge, but I have not had the wisdom or strength to act on it. And I think it's really, really important to have the knowledge and have the wisdom. Don't go back to things that have hurt you. Walk away, have that strong boundary, because yeah, knowledge versus wisdom. Sometimes wisdom is the key to acting accordingly. That was a big thing I learned. Next lesson. This one is a bit cliche. And I actually learned this in 2023 and I implemented it a lot during 2024. And now I feel like it is a part of me. Sometimes I lose it, sometimes I get it back, but I definitely feel like it's a natural part of me. But in 2023, okay, I was seeing this guy, and for the first time ever, I flew across the world to see this guy, okay? And I was so nervous. I swear to you, for the nights leading up to me getting on that plane and going to see that guy, I couldn't sleep. Like, I was so full of nerves. And then I got on that plane and I was like, what the hell? Like, I'm in my 20s. I'm going across the world to see a really cute guy. I have no idea how this is going to go, but this is so fun. Romanticize your life. You have to romanticize your life, like, from everything. It's almost like it's so fun to see your life from an outsider's perspective in your head, almost like you're creating a movie, okay? And I just think it's such a nice way of like looking at yourself. Like, it's just like a nice way of looking at things. Like, romanticize your life because it's supposed to feel fun and exciting and make even the most mundane things, like sitting at your desk working. You're in your 20s, you're working hard, you're sitting at your desk, you're grinding. Romanticize your situation because it's fun. And I just remember sitting on that plane being like, oh my gosh, this is so fun. Really like sparked this kind of thing inside of my head of just like romanticize the moments. Because like people always say it, and it sounds like a bit cliche and like a bit TikTok-y, but it's really true. Just like romanticize your life as much as you can and like make it all feel special, because like your life can be a movie book if you want it to be, you know? Quick little ad break for you guys. I told you we're not playing around season 2 of The Big A. I just wanted to thank Socia Navigate again for editing, filming, setting up this beautiful production for me. They got me covered and I really appreciate them for sponsoring this video. If you guys need anything to do with production, editing, I'm going to put them in the description and you'll know exactly where to go. Continue the podcast. Oh yeah. Next lesson. I've actually mentioned this in one of like my sit down things with Iman, but you might be the sweetest peach on the tree. Some people don't like peaches. This is a really big one for me because I feel like last year I met a lot of characters. Some just really got me and some just really didn't. And I think it goes even like for where I stand right now in my life, I feel like a lot of people will watch my content and they'll just get me and my vibe. Then there's some people that think I'm a gold digger, that think I'm using Iman for his money, that think I'm a pick me, like all these kinds of things. Like it's like I'm me, but there's so many different perceptions you may have of me, right? And it just goes back to, you might be the sweetest peach on the tree. Like, I really know who I am. Some people just will never get me. And that is so okay, because some people just don't like peaches. But then there'll be like a whole group of people that will freaking love peaches. I personally love peaches. I love them. So I think that was like a really big thing for me, because I feel like I spent a lot of time trying to defend myself or like make my intentions clear or make who I am clear. But like at the end of the day, the more you have to kind of like vouch for yourself, the more it's not going to be received, you know? And that was like a big hard hitting pill, because in my mind I'm like, how can you not just see me for what I am? Like, I'm a good person, I swear, like I've got a pure heart. Some people don't get it. Some people can't see that. And we're all mirroring. We all have our own different kinds of ways we look at things and receive things. And some of us struggle with our emotions. Some of us struggle with communication. Some of us have really big traumas. Some of us are a bit insecure. The list goes on. Like, we are very, very complex beings. So not everyone is going to receive you in the way you intend. And then some people are going to receive you absolutely in the way you intend. And that's just life. You've got your people and you've got your ops. So it's just as simple as that. Next lesson. How people make you feel is usually how they feel about themselves. No more further comments on that one. This one is a big one. And like, I actually can't say that I've learned this yet. It's something that I'm grasping constantly. And funnily enough, it's one of those things that I know God has been trying to teach me over and over and over again. And I've kept falling in certain situations over and over and over again because I haven't quite, it's like I know it, but I don't have the balls, the cojones. I don't have that to like really action on it. I think I'm there. But I've always struggled with this. You guys know, even on my first podcast episode with Moza, I said I struggle with closing the doors. I always like to keep them open ajar, but that's always just bit me in the ass. And I feel like I really understand this now. Some things in life, some decisions, some things are not as simple as making a choice and never looking back. This I spoke about in one of my episodes. It's not as simple as making a choice and never looking back. We are human. It's not as black and white as that. But some things, it's actually essential to make a choice and to never look back. It is essential, okay? And I think it's really important to learn how to navigate situations where you need that clean cutoff, done, dusted, door closed. And even like we can use this towards ourselves too, right? I will never forget this. This was a OG conversation. So when I feel like I'm name dropping Iman a lot of this first episode, he's gonna think I'm trying to clout chase him. But when I think in the first couple of months of me working with Iman, the team was so small. Like, I think there was 9 people on the team, which is crazy because the team is huge now. Anyways, at that point in time, it was a call, me, Iman, and Tristan. Okay, the 3 of us. Those 2 are my brothers. It was a great time. Those calls were so cozy. So it was just us 3. And Tristan was talking about how he, at that period of time, he wanted to stop drinking. He wanted to cut out alcohol. And then he kind of went back on his word and he was like, but I don't know. And then Iman was like, nah, bro, like your reality is on the other side of an identity flip. He was like, if you say you're stopping drinking, you're stopping drinking. That's like your new reality. Like, that's your present. And that has always stuck in my head. I don't think I've even told the guys this because I just don't. I mean, they have to hear me yap as it is, so I just don't want to overload them. But that was such a moment where like I sat back and I was like, wow, that was a profound thing to say. Because why do we struggle so much with making that identity change? Why do we struggle so much to just stick to our word? And sometimes you have to make a decision and you have to never look back. That's it. your new identity, your new reality. No umming and ahhing, no looking back. You want to stop doing that? You've stopped it now. That's your present. You're not attached to what you were in the past. And this is a big thing, is when you're attached, this is what I learned. Sorry, now I'm kind of going on a tangent, but when I was really struggling to lose weight, okay, I constantly was comparing myself to what I used to look like. So I would go through my camera roll and I'd see like pictures of 2 summers ago being like, oh my God, I was so tiny. I was so na. I'm going to paint a picture, right? That was me having one of my legs in quicksand to that past body that I used to have, whilst my other leg was trying to lose weight and get to another, like a better physical place in my body, okay? It was like I was stuck, because when you're attached to what you used to be, whether it's like skinnier, happier, blah, 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 you can't actually make that your present version of yourself because you're still attached to what you used to be. You will never be what you used to be. Your body will never be the same as what it used to be. It will only ever be better and different and evolved version of you. Like, sometimes you make a decision and you never look back, and you don't need to be attached to past versions of yourself, past things. It's really, really hard, but I think it's the best way for change, because change is important, which leads me on to my next lesson. You got to start to get comfortable with change. I have notoriously always been one of those people that if change is in my control, I'm very comfortable with it. If change is out of my control, I'm extremely uncomfortable. So it has always been a hard one for me to be comfortable and calm with change. But this world in general changes so much from day to day that you have to start to become comfortable with the uncomfortable, and you can only focus on what you can control one step at a time, because change can make you feel out of whack, but again, when you don't know where to stand anywhere. If you haven't watched that podcast episode, what are you doing? Go watch it. Moving on to my last and final lesson. You cannot run from anything. You can't run from anything. I feel like I have been chasing a feeling. Not chasing, I've been running away from a feeling. And it's so interesting. The more I've run away from this feeling, the more I feel this feeling. And that's because there is only so much distracting one can do until you get to your breaking point, and you have to face the music. You have to face the music. You cannot run away from anything. You've got to face things front on. You cannot leave the country to get away from your problems. You cannot go drinking to drown your sorrows and forget about things. Oh my gosh, that pile of shit that you're suppressing, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and the silence gets louder and louder and louder. You have got to sit in that loudness until it becomes your peace again. And sitting with yourself is one of the hardest things you can do, but sitting with yourself, sitting and reorganizing, sitting and reevaluating, sitting and redoing, sitting and readdressing, sitting with yourself and allowing yourself to refocus is so important and so necessary. And then when you get to the point where you can sit with yourself and you are content, you've hit the jackpot. And I think I'm getting there. I think I am. I used to be the girl. I mean, I still am the girl, but these days it's been a bit harder than prior. But I loved my alone time so much. I'm like, generally, I am really happy being alone, like really, really happy. But I can't say that it's a new year and I've healed from everything and it's like we're good and we're going forward. No, like I am still healing from certain things, and I am really taking my time and really being patient with myself, because there's no rush. I know there's going to come a point where like so many things I have accepted in my life and they don't affect me. I know that day is coming. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm really allowing myself the time to sit with myself and to find that peace being alone again. Also, of course, for most of December, I was with my family, and then I was with my friends for New Year's, and it was so amazing and so great. So of course I've been stimulated by so much socializing, and now I'm back in London, and it's one of those kinds of, it's January, no one really likes a January, do they? And it's that quiet time and that quiet period where I really do just want to take advantage of that. And I mean, not necessarily quite, because there's a lot of things going on with work, but I want to take advantage of kind of just like hibernating a little bit and keeping to myself and sitting with myself, because I think it's one of the coolest things. Oof, I've got to bring my mum up again. My mum once told me, I was going through something with a guy. Shock. My mum once told me, I'm kidding, not really. My mum once told me, the coolest thing you can do, because I think after, when you go through things with a guy, or like you go through a breakup or all this kind of stuff, you kind of go into revenge mode, revenge baddie, all this kind of stuff. It always just don't even go down that road, because it always ends up making you feel like shit. Like, the coolest thing you can do for yourself is make friends with the uncomfort and make friends with the way things have gone down, and just really like better yourself, for yourself, not for anyone, not for a reaction, not for anyone's eyes, just for yourself. And then you glow different and you feel so good about yourself. But yeah, she's always told me, like, certain things are none of your business, and the coolest things you can do is make friends with the discomfort that comes alongside these certain things that happen in your life. Make friends, make peace with the discomfort. And that's always a line that has rung in my head. Because yeah, she's a pretty cool woman, and she's always remained pretty cool too. So yeah, that was a good takeaway from her. So yes, guys, those were my big takeaways from last year. I am thrilled for this new season. I'm so excited to speak with you guys every week. Thank you for tuning in. And I'm really wishing you guys an amazing 2025. Let's crush it, go harder than we ever have, and keep our promises to ourselves. Very, very important. That is your fast track to confidence right there. So yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next episode.